Hey, it's Jim Peterson of the Minnesota Timberwolves coming at you from LA Live. And you're watching Wolves After Dark. Welcome.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the World Championship.
Edwards. They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.
Welcome into Wolves After Dark, everybody. Timberwolves lose Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals to the Thunder, 114-88. I guess we just get to watch Shai flop around for the entire series. That's fun. But also, not only that, we have to have our bench contribute in any way. If you're new here, like the stream, subscribe to the stream. We're doing this after every game. Oh, well, that was a fun game until it wasn't. How are you feeling, Ashwin?
After Gobert picked up his first couple fouls in the first couple minutes, and then Jaden got subbed out because of a couple fouls early, the game got really ugly.
Yeah.
Really fast. And it was a bunch of free throws, and it really kind of took me out of the game. I had a hard time getting back in, and then we officially never were like back in the game. We had like a really, really fun Julius Randle half, and then I don't know what happened in that second half, but it was a struggle to get anything going offensively. And I wasn't expecting a tale of two halves, but I definitely wasn't expecting just like icing our own players out of this game and like going through insanity where we weren't shooting well and then we just kept doing it. I didn't expect our game plan to be let's just shoot threes like Boston Celtics in like a 7 for 47 type of format. We shot worse and we shot more, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought part of it was because we just wanted to like kind of play more like reps on offense, have more opportunities, and just play harder on defense, so then we don't get lost in transition, and then as well as kind of keeping Oklahoma City's like hands at bay because we're just shooting threes. They can't really intercept passes there.
Mm-hmm.
But then we got really sloppy with the ball, and then we got like in our own heads because man, we were playing well, but then like let's make some fancy passes and stuff and have Jaden bring the ball up and do weird things. And I think it just because the sloppiness kind of translated into like mismanaged opportunities on offense, that just like kind of was the whole game for us. We were sloppy. We were our own worst enemy. And Oklahoma City was just kind of biding their time, waiting until we folded, and then SGA in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. I really just don't give any credit to Shai for this game. Pretty disgusting. I can't get over it. It's like ruining basketball for me at the moment.
It was a very not fun game to watch.
I can't watch this because the other series, I mean, he does this, but it wasn't like this tonight. This was just so ugly. And I hope that the response, because the response on social media is overwhelmingly like 90-10. Like, this needs to change. This cannot be allowed. And I'm not just talking about Timberwolves fans. I'm talking about like national, like Bill Simmons said something. I saw like some Barstool guy said something. Like there's people out there that are like calling for this. So it's like, it's crazy. But yeah, the first half was kind of fun. I was okay after the first half, honestly. I mean, it was kind of messy, and like I hated the way we ended the first half, where it was like, we were up by like 8 or 9 or something, and then it gets down to like 4, and it's like, that's not terrible, but like we should have been a lot better. But yeah, I mean, like Jason's saying here, dude, the bench has been so bad all playoffs. It really has been. We've been surviving with a bad bench all playoffs. We've had a couple hit or miss games. I mean, we've had a couple games where it's like, randomly. Like Nas had like one good game, if I'm remembering correctly. And I think Na also had like one game where he hit like 3 threes instead of 0 or something. But yeah, it's just it's just really disappointing. But the second half, beyond the fouling and the stuff like that, which I'm not going to get over. I know there's going to be OKC fans in the comments of this, but it's like I honestly want there to be OKC fans. I want you to expose yourself for the fake NBA fan that you are, because this is just like so bad. But beyond that, if I can get myself beyond that, yeah, I mean, like the second half was tricky also because there was a lot of fouls. Now there were a lot of fouls on both ends, so like there was foul trouble for both sides. Let me see. It was I don't have the foul numbers at half, but like Julius had 3 going into the half, and then I think Jaden had 2 and Ant had 2 or something like that. So when Julius came back in the third quarter, that was a problem because he didn't want to play his normal bully ball and have them just flop and take a charge. So he was playing much more passive, and that's just not how our playoff offense has worked. We need Julius to be playing super aggressive. So it's that was a problem. And then of course, then you're like, okay, well then we just need to get stops. If we can't play effectively offensively, we have to get stops. And we couldn't get stops. I mean, there were a lot of bad fouls, the Shai flops, if you will. But beyond that, even when there wasn't that, we couldn't get a single. Like they kept saying, like, "Hey, this is still a gettable game," and it was. But we just, if we can't get a single stop, I'd love to see like some kind of like a shot, like I want to see what their shooting was in the second half, because beyond like the 7 or 6 minute mark or something like that in the third quarter, it seems like it was just bucket, we can't get something, bucket, we can't get something, bucket, we can't get something. But still, it was like 10 points. It was crazy. It's amazing. I mean, the game ended up 114-88, but that was really just because of a late second burst, like last 3-minute burst. But yeah, the Dante fouling, the Jaden, also it was the combination of Julius getting in a little bit of foul trouble, so he didn't want to play like too aggressive offensively to draw a charge, but also the combination of Jaden also getting his 4th foul. Those two things, like then we couldn't defend and stay even with them, and we couldn't score anything. It was just bad all around. But yes, Jake Erickson, not my favorite game of basketball I've seen either.
You wanted some numbers? I'll give it to you with my hashtag analysis. Hashtag can't spell analysis without anal. 26 for 42, 62% from the floor in the second half for OKC. That is 62% also from 3, 8 for 13. And they went to the line. They hit all their free throws. They out rebounded us. They out assisted us. They out hustled us.
They did out hustle us, yes.
And it was a 70-40 second half. We shot terribly from 3, but if you look at that, we were like 9 for 17 in the paint, like from 2, so we could have like done more damage in the paint. What were they doing? They like pulled Hartenstein early, and then they went with Caruso and Cason Wallace and Chet and like all the others, and then like Kendrick Williams, and that like kind of hurried us, and they pressed up on our players, and that bothered us. And then in the first half, as you said, Julius Randle hit his 3rd, so he was a little passive in the second half. He didn't want to pick up his 4th, right? Yeah. And Ant, with an kind of like he didn't get quite any rhythm for most of the game. Was kind of like indifferent and was just like biding his time, but like there was no time to be biting. We needed way more from our stars in the second half. It felt like one of those games because we just saw this like insane backcourt deficiency from our 3-point specialists off the bench. 6th man of the year, Naz Reid. Man, this is gonna quickly become a negative show. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop short. But like 6th man of the year, Naz Reid turns into like minimum contract Naz Reid. Like this was a really, really bad performance, and like he had 1 layup. I was like, this is definitely kind of forecasting just my observations from this game, but we needed more from one person off the bench, and we got nothing. We had a lot of DiVincenzo moments where he was just taking possessions over and shooting from basically half court, literally for no reason, and not like kind of empty defensive possessions too. And he would rebound out of position. He would rebound, like he wouldn't get the rebounds. And so what are you doing out there? And then Naz Reid was kind of a turnstile on defense. You know, like Chet Holmgren watches Naz Reid check in and he just goes, my 32 game season is going to show out in these playoffs. Because that's all he did this year was he's injured and he only played 30 games all year, you know? So it was a frustrating watch because OKC is a very solid team. They don't need to do the extra silliness.
I know. Yeah.
But they did, and they got into our heads. It frustrated us, and then we took ourselves out of the game. And then they could just play and kick our ass. This was like an ugly game from both sides. The foul throw, the free throw shooting, the foul baiting, the questionable calls that were going in one direction. That's not the reason why we lost. And then the ugly shooting. Both of those brands of basketball, no one wants to see this. No one wants to see chucking from 51 freaking times.
Yeah.
And no one wants to see dudes on the floor for 20 minutes a game, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Just just frustrating. Going through a couple of the stats from OKC, they got 31 from Shai, 19 from Jalen Williams. Chet had 15, which, by the way, I mean, I know he ended up being okay, but like in that first half, he did not look like a good basketball player. Isaiah Ihart got 12. And then there was just a bunch of random contributors, Caruso, Kenrich Williams. Honestly, I think some of those Kenrich Williams buckets were some of the most backbreaking of the game because it was like, how does this guy come in from sucking all playoffs and really not being that much of a contributor for them during the season, or at least not the good old days when I used to complain about Kenrich Williams, when he was actually a big part of their rotation. Comes in, gets 3 of 3, and gets 8 points. It's just like a killer. But yeah, and they played decent amount of people, decent amount of minutes, and they also got to rest some of their guys because I mean, other than Shai played 38, J-Dub played 33, Chet only played 25, Ihart only 19. Like, I don't know, Dart only 27, partially due to foul trouble for him, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't really know either. I feel like this is going to be kind of an ugly rewatch. Don't rewatch this game, and actually, I hope that this film doesn't really provide anything except for suck it up, you dweebs. You're in the Western Conference Finals. Intensity and pressure is at a maximum. Better be ready, or you're riding the bench. You're riding the pine, and 2 thumbs down for Chris Finch with like no flexibility. No substitution pattern changes. Let's just have them chuck. I was beside myself that we weren't just like trying something different, getting other like wholesale lineups out there different. I mean, who could we play? Who could we trust? We're down 10 and 11, but we looks like we're down 25 because we're not making any possessions count. You know what? 0 fast break points. Terrence Shannon Jr., what do you do so well? Jalen Clark was playing like a madman in that first half. 1 minute in the second half.
It just is confusing to me.
Points in the paint. Gobert, Randle, and driving the lane. That Jaden dunks and putbacks, right? That should kind of become something. We had like a floater. That was like all we did in the second half from Conley and like an underhand layup from Nas. Like that was literally all we did. 54-20. This is OKC. We got walloped in the paint. That's embarrassing.
Well, that's what they're best defensively at is stopping the paint, and they were able to do that. And then we were like, okay, we're going to take a bunch of threes, and if they go in, we win. If they don't go in, we lose. And they did not go in.
Yeah, second half adjustments were very, very embarrassing because here we are up 4, and let's put the ball in Gobert's hands on like 4 possessions in a row. Let's make him point and rue and have him do some Euro passes into SGA's hands. It was zero awareness and readiness. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just like pissed and trying not to go off the rails.
Yeah.
Hey, 1 game, but now it feels really, really difficult to win this series. We need to win 4 out of 6.
Yep. Well,
that means
you could have said the same thing about the Golden State series. We lost the first game there.
I didn't feel that way.
But that's because they lost Curry. I mean, it's not only because they lost Curry, but that's a huge
Not only that
reason.
they lost Curry. You're right, though.
So It's still possible. I'm not like totally gone. Like, I mean, of course, it's just one game. I'm not like out on the series yet, but um, you know, this next game is very important now. That's why winning the first game is so much better because you win the first game and then you have some house money to play with in the second game. You can take some chances, you can shoot with confidence and maybe take some shots that you maybe wouldn't normally take, and if they go in, then it's just backbreakers. Which is exactly what happened in the second half of this game in another way, where it's like, okay, well, they got their 10-point lead. They could start playing super aggressive defense, see if they get away with a call or a foul. And if they don't, then oh well. And then same thing on offense. They can kind of just do whatever. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I feel like with the series is why you want to win the first game. But winning the second game would put a lot of pressure on because then we go back home, and it seems like maybe we've got the home crowd behind us, and we're not as bad as we're at home during the regular season now. But no, I still have confidence in this team. I mean, they couldn't figure out Julius until he got into foul trouble, and then Ant, although he didn't shoot fantastic tonight, one of those was a half court shot, and then there's a couple that were just like late game, kind of had to get something going, kind of a thing. I didn't necessarily hate his game. Maybe I'm missing something, but also he did tweak his ankle. But again, the 10th fake ankle injury of the year. Just kidding. He actually did roll it, but I don't know. I felt like he had some good defensive moments too tonight. He came out with good energy. I thought everybody came out with good energy. Honestly, I felt really good about our energy tonight. If I'm trying to find a positive, even the players that shot terribly, like Dante, Nas, I thought they all, especially in the first half, played with decent energy. But as you mentioned earlier, I do think that one of the other contributing factors to the loss in the second half was just the hustle plays and the rebounding. There was just multiple times, like Shai got that one where he missed the layup and got his own rebound, and Nas is standing right there, and Nas is standing right there. It's like, why is nobody jumping for this rebound? Pretty concerning, but it's also just crazy to me that you have the three players. We should get into the tier list, but the three players that all are looking for a contract, whether it's with us or with another team, just all shoot the bed.
You're right.
That's great.
Dude.
All of them are looking. Well, I mean, Dante's not looking for that, but Nas,
That's gonna be a pretty
both.
tier list.
And Dante is, looking to be a starter if things change next year. So, anyways, let's get the tier list up here. If you haven't already, like the stream, subscribe to the stream. We do this after every game, pretty much.
We're gonna get through the tier list pretty quickly, and then we're gonna shift to game 2 and talk about what we need to maybe have happen, including did we actually have the correct game plan? I started this comment from Steve. Shout out to Steve. He's been pretty positive in chat. What's crazy but comforting in triple question mark is that it seemed like we had the right game plan, just awful execution.
I totally agree.
I agree, because once the threes start falling, they have to do something different, and then we can drive to the rim kind of effortlessly. I think they were packing paint. I think they were doing some zones. I think they were handling our one of our biggest strengths kind of well, and we just bought into it. We fell into their trap defense on our offense, and it also doubles down when we don't make shots. I don't think I'm going to talk about any of the the garbage time minute players, although I just really, really want to see a little bit more Terrence Shannon Jr. when no one was hitting a bucket, when no one was making a bucket, when no one was hitting a three. I just insert something different. I just wanted to see something. Jalen Clark, I actually thought he did pretty well in his 6 minutes. He didn't get, that's not enough time to really evaluate him. So I'm going to be like, nice. I don't really care.
Yeah. I wish there was more. This felt like a game, especially when we were getting into foul trouble, where it's like, I feel like we can. It's like I need to rewatch it, but I'm just not going to. But was there something wrong with his minutes? I don't understand it. So I don't know.
Moving on to the rest of the bench, I almost want to clump them all together because they all kind of played similarly. Naz Reid, 27 minutes, 1 for 11, and his only bucket was a wide open underhand layup. 4 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. 3 turnovers off the bench, including 0 for 7, his specialty. his moneymaker himself, itself, like contract year, Naz Reid. This is actually maybe the most important series of his life.
Yeah.
I mean, this was awful, and
This is so,
don't want to say anything more.
it was
will
so
explode.
bad. I don't know if it's Juancho or Glenn Taylor, but man, it's bad. Maybe him smiling in that after that one play when he turned it over late. Maybe that's his version of Shai, and he's going to come back and win.
Oh man, I kind of hope it is. Yeah, you got it, man. You made me feel better. Now I'm calmed down.
I think we'll save him from Glenn Taylor, but
yeah,
I think it's at minimum Juancho. It's still bad, but
I hope you guys are cool in chat right now, because just like
Doesn't
mouthing
seem
off
like
against each other, it's like really stupid. We'll just cut the stream. Like we'll just shut up. We'll just go away.
Yeah.
Because like we don't need to be here, right? All right. Dante DiVincenzo, 30 minutes, 9 points. That's cool. 3 for 12 from 3. That's pretty awful. He, he was out there. He was 2 steals and a block shot. That's pretty cool. And like I guess he had some pressure defense, but not enough to matter.
Yeah.
I actually questioned most of his shots, even though they were good looks.
Yeah. Well, because we haven't seen them really go in since like game 1 of the Lakers. So it's just, man, there was a part of me that was like, keep just shoot like crazy, see if you can get something going. But it never happened. So, and his defense, sure, but like he was fouling a decent amount too, and his actually were fouls. I felt like I thought he got away with fouls at points. But I think it's equally as bad as Naz. I think it's a Juancho.
Nikhil Alexander Walker, I don't even want to read his stat line. I mean, it's 8 points, 2 for 9 from 3. Most of that was like it never mattered. So I'm at a loss for words. I think it's going to be a Juancho.
I think it's a Juancho also, but I am willing to put him at the top because I felt like he had the best of the games out of those 3. Like there were moments where I felt like Na was potentially contributing. Sometimes on defense, sometimes on offense, and he did have a couple go, which I mean, I know Dante had 3, but he's just chucking like crazy, and they were just, I don't know. So it felt better to me.
Out of our 51 shot attempts from 3, they had 28 of them, and they made 5. Like 5 for 28 from 3. That is a whole lot of wasted possessions, or us running around, passing the ball, sprint, having like OKC rest on defense when we're just chucking like that. Like they're not doing anything,
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Naz Reid had like the best play of the game where like the ball was going out of bounds and he like chucked it to someone else for a 3. Like that was like the best play of the game, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To the starters, Mike Conley, old, 7 points, 3 assists. He hit a 3, hit a couple free throws. Didn't really feel his presence out there. I think honestly he had a frustrating kind of whistle. I think he was called for a couple things that didn't make any sense. But no turnovers. I think he was probably one of the better players out there tonight, which is just so embarrassing. So,
which I mean, it clearly wasn't the thought of Finch because he just kept throwing Dante in there instead of him. But I felt like Mike had multiple moments tonight where he could really have changed the game for us. He had those 2 threes in the corner from that he could have hit one of them, and that felt like that was a needed bucket from us at that moment. He also took another ill-advised 3 at one point that I just didn't love, and it was just like, he's got to go in. It's one of these things where it's like, if you're going to take a 3, it has to go in. Like even Dante, when he chucks like 12 or something like that, he's going to make a few, and that's kind of just his role. But with Mike, it's like, man, if you're shooting, I'd rather have that shot go to somebody else that I believe can make it. So it was old. Obviously, it's the easiest old tier ever. It was fine. He was playing physical defense at first with, and actually one shout out to Mike that I forgot I wanted to say. He has this ability, and I've never mentioned it before, but whenever there's like a flop from the other player on the other team, within the next 3 or 4 plays, he will do the vet like version of flopping and get some kind of a call for something.
Yeah, he did that.
And he's done that multiple times in playoffs, but for real. Like tonight, he did it once or twice even, but obviously he couldn't keep up with the amount of times that they were flopping. So, but that's his only positive. So old tier it is.
Capo, Ant's first half was nice. We'll get into Ant in a second. Although there's not
will.
much to talk about him. Was nice and then disappeared, unfortunately, in the second. Same with Jaden. Jaden McDaniels, 23 and a half minutes, 7 points, 6 rebounds, a block shot. He hit his very first shot, which was a 3. Super nice.
The first 2 shots of our game, yeah.
Oh, they were so good. And he fouls out, and I would say 7 of those 6 fouls were phantom fouls. They were not anything. There was a kick out. There was a shove and a kick out by SGA,
Good.
and that was his 4th foul, and the game changed completely from that point. Like it was like 60 to 60. I mean,
I know.
It was so crazy. And before I even grade like Jaden, or we talk about Jaden, like I'm just like having the mind frame of like we cannot be this bad to like the next game. Like so, like there is that like false hope or like mindset that the shots will go in. We will play a more efficient offense. However, like OKC now has the confidence, the wherewithal, and also the ability to like guard us with all these players. Like they're throwing out like Isaiah Joe and Kendrick Williams and like making meaningful plays. You know, it's pretty wild. Like we're not hunting one specific player, like the way that we were hunting like LeBron and Luka in the first half, and like we were basically like bullying Draymond and Buddy Hield on defense on the other end. It was crazy. And in this system, at least OKC's flying around with all these players. Who are we hunting? Like I guess maybe in the first half we were kind of hunting like Hartenstein and Holmgren. They looked like a shell. I mean, at least Chet was looking like a shell of himself in that first half. But when everyone had foul trouble, when we went small, he started cooking in the third quarter. Jaden McDaniels fouls out. I think this was not the best game, but also I don't think this was his game. He wasn't able to be in control of his own game.
No, I actually liked his game other than the refs calling all the fouls on him. And this is a game where I don't blame Jaden for the fouls. So assuming he didn't have fouls, I felt like this was going to be a high scoring game from Jaden. I felt like this was going to be a great defense game from Jaden. So I think where I end up is probably meh. We care about you, bud, because we care about you and all the stupid fouls that you got.
I agree.
All the stupid calls that you got, I should say.
Dude.
But
absolutely.
Yeah, I thought again the game changed when he got 4 fouls and had to leave in the third quarter, and Julius had 3 fouls, so he couldn't be aggressive on offense. Those 2 things drastically flipped everything for us in the game.
Rudy Gobert, only 21 minutes in this game. We definitely had a healthy amount of Naz Reid instead. After those 2 minutes where he had 2 fouls, he didn't get another foul again, but he also didn't do anything at all. He had 2 points and 3 rebounds for our big boy, Rudy Gobert. This is not our exceptional game from our big man, who I think has a lot riding on this series also, because this is his first chance to get to the finals, like, or not his first chance, but like a legitimate chance to get to the finals. And he can't be like this for us. What happened? Like, we went away from him defensively on purpose. What were they doing to like basically just frustrate him and make Finch decide differently?
Well, I don't get it at all, because he got the 2 fouls very quickly, and both, again, very stupid fouls. But because when he was in there for however many minutes, it felt like 2 or 3. We were obviously playing very well, and I think it was like a weird mismatch for OKC. I thought that it felt good to me. But it was like he had the 2 fouls, they took him out, and I think that the game was just close. Finch was just being a game manager at the time and just kind of being like, okay, well, we're just going to try to ride with the smaller lineup and see what happens. But I mean, of course, like it felt good, but like if you look at the stats, I mean, there's nothing there. So it's like, and the rebounds, I mean, still he had multiple times tonight where he's doing the stupid batting it out thing, or the like weird thing where he's just doing this under the basket. Like it's just like terrible.
He didn't even play the fourth quarter according to stats. So
really,
I mean, the lead is built, for OKC. Yeah. So like, why put him back in now? Like when it's 15, 20-point game, and we just need to chuck our way back in the game. So I guess I get it now on kind of reviewing the stat line. I think this is a Wancho-like performance, potentially an old tier just above it, because like he didn't really like do anything to take away from the team except for those early calls, and then also the third quarter like mishaps where we like went to him emphatically way too much, and he was doing way too much with the ball.
That's true.
To the point where Doris Burke was making fun of the amount of dribbles he was taking. You know, like it was so stupid.
Yeah, I think old tier is correct because you kind of brought a callback back. Wancho is actually the definition of Wancho tier back in the day, in vintage Wad Squad days. Wancho's definition was you actively took away from the team.
Yeah.
And I think that Nas, and Dante all actively took away from the team. I'm not sure that Rudy took away from the team as much as just wasn't on the team. I don't know. Like it just didn't feel. It feels wrong to put him in Wancho. I mean, kind of down, but I don't know. He was also old. I felt like him and Mike had very similar games in a different way.
Yeah, great point. I'm down. Not 4. I'm down on Anthony Edwards right now. Stocks have not plummeted, but have just like,
they're not going up.
Not going up.
Yeah.
Team worst -23. I mean, that is relevant, but
yeah.
In 36 minutes, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers. And yeah, maybe he hit 3 for 8 from 3, but 13 shot attempts. You know what game this reminds me of more than anything? Like just the box score. 1 Karl Anthony Towns, 5 for 13 when we needed so much more from him. 3 for 8. That's more threes than Cat would take.
Yeah.
18 points and 9 rebounds is just not going to cut it in a Western Conference Finals game when we are a week rest. We are on fresh legs.
Yeah.
We could sprint this entire game and be okay. You know, I know you're hobbled. You have this like busted ankle or whatever, but or something's going on with your ankle. That didn't stop you from trying to dunk it on Dort. You know, that didn't stop you. Where is that power play? Where is that move that just like shakes the arena? And where does it turn to our side? Like we have so many advantages. And didn't you watch our series preview? We have so many advantages, and we didn't take advantage of it because we had this game plan that might have been correct that allowed us to just chuck from 3 and not play to Ant's strengths. And I was very, very, very concerned by the fact that we weren't getting downhill. You know, we weren't in passing lanes trying to force turnovers, trying to rush into, transition plays because we had 0 transition points. I just didn't care for this game from Ant. I mean, I know you might feel a lot differently, but I think a superstar is calling your head, my friend, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And we need the best version of you right now. And when it's not a distribution role because our team is going 15 for 51 from 3, take over the game.
Yeah. I agree with that because the first half, really, I thought Ant played pretty well. I mean, Julius was on, so I wasn't expecting him to like take over scoring wise, but Ant had 7 in the first quarter, 6 in the second quarter. That's not like terrible. So 13 points in the first half. And it felt pretty good to me at that time. But then the third quarter and fourth quarter, 5 points, fourth quarter, 0 points. I mean, like, also in the first half, Ant left because he was injured. So, really that first half, that felt really good to me. And I liked that version of Ant. I thought he had played with good energy. I thought he was making relatively good decisions. But then the second half, I mean, when you get into a situation where Julius is in foul trouble and he can't be as aggressive as he wants to avoid foul trouble, both offensively and defensively, Ant's got to be able to take over. And it does feel like he's still learning this, which to a degree, I know nobody likes to hear this, but he is 23 years old and he is still learning a lot. He is a child in a superstar body. So he is really learning a lot of things as we go. And of course, he's able to take over sometimes. I can't remember who said it. I think it was actually ESPN before the game. One either Perk or Stephen A. or somebody was like, Shai is going to be consistent all series. You're going to get the same thing from him every single game, but Ant's going to have the ability to just, if he gets hot or if he gets on, he will win no matter what. It's like the heat from his flame when it's on is so hot that there's no stopping it. But when it's off, I mean, it's like a light switch. It's either on or off. And I felt like the first half to me felt really good. That second half, just absolutely no ability to take over. There's certain times where, like, sure, I wasn't necessarily like, I know earlier I said that I was like at a point kind of okay with Dante and Nas and not taking some threes because they were open and they were good looks for the most part. But maybe we need to have Ant taking some more of those shots, even if they're contested, because he has proven to be a better 3-point shooter than all three of those guys this season. So, and especially it felt like there was an opportunity there, especially with the way Randle played in the first half, to give Ant some room to make some plays or to make some threes or just get some separation. But just didn't happen. I still think that, generally tonight he was pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I think where I end up with a grade for him tonight is probably meh. We care about you, bud. But child and superstar body should be a tier.
Oh, funny.
But
I think it was actually a pretty resoundingly honest take from you there. Like, Ant is young. Ant is like playing above his pay grade in a lot of ways. And he's doing so many things that are probably like just not second nature. These are like new things. And also he has to be the star of the show. He has to do all these new things and also be the star of the show. I'm sorry. Not to counter that point at all. You want it,
Mm-hmm.
This could be a championship caliber team.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it, and don't let it get to you. Don't let one mistake kind of just like completely follow you throughout the game.
Mm-hmm. I think he's gotten better at that long term, forgetting about the mistakes and things like that. But short term, like in game, that's where it's still a problem. He can't get over that.
Yeah, Itch is right. This is SGA's like first Western Conference Finals appearance, and just 23. This is his second.
Yep.
Pretty interesting.
I think that's the other thing. Everybody tries to compare Ant to all these other current superstars, and it's like these current superstars are 3, 4, 5 years older than him. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, this is like not fair to be like, wow, look at how consistent. Yeah. Like, it's Shai is so consistent. Yeah, he's played for 3 more years.
Yeah,
like that's good. That's a significant amount of time.
I mean, will we get back here again? Like that's another thing that we could not talk about right now. But like, will we make it back here? Like this is so remarkable that we're in the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years. It's like unheard of, unprecedented for our franchise. But just like in general, with all the parity now, it's even getting harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dwayne Wade won when he was 24, and then he had like Shaq and all these other players with him, So, Julius Randle, 36 minutes, 28 points, 8 rebounds, including 5 for 6 from 3, 5 turnovers, only 8 points in the second half, of which 0 threes. He was a shooting star in the first half. He was lights out, magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did we do in the second half? We didn't look for him. He didn't look for the ball. What were they doing? They were putting Kendrick Williams on him. They were putting like Lugan Stort on him and things like that. And we were not going.
The whole name is crazy.
We were not going to him. Frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching mishaps, miscues, person with the ball in their hands, running the court, running the paint, running a play for the team to get a bucket, miscues galore. That third quarter was awful. It did not help any matters to for Julius that he wasn't aggressive enough in the second half. But this was almost an A1 game from Julius.
It really was.
And then I don't know what happened. So take it away.
Yeah, no, this was an A1 game in the beginning of this game.
He's doing it all he's doing it all in Skechers.
That's true. I've said this multiple times so far in the show, but I really think that the thing that changed his game was the fact that he got 3 fouls in the first half.
Yeah.
And then he just couldn't. He was playing tentative. I mean, rewatch, like he just wasn't comfortable. Like he had a moment where I think it was either Caruso or some other smaller player on him, where he had not been letting them really bother him much, but he was at like the free throw line and he was like, he couldn't figure it out because he wasn't going to try to plow through him. He wasn't going to like try to do his typical like kind of fade away jump shot because he was like, I don't know, somebody could flop and get a foul. So I think he was very conscious of that to the point where it ruined his confidence and ruined his game. So I truly believe that was the problem. And I'm not trying to. This isn't. I mean, I know everybody's gonna. All the Oklahoma City fans that are going to come here are going to flock and say, well, they're only going to watch the first 5 minutes, which is why I bait everybody in the first 5 minutes. But if they're still here, I'm not saying that the refs ruined Julius Randle's game. I'm saying that Julius Randle let the fouls ruin his own flow. So, it was A1 first half. I mean, he still ended up 9 of 13. I borderline want to give him cash because it was really good. And I thought that actually in the second half, even with 3 fouls, which he ended up with 3 fouls, by the way, right? He ended up with 3? Yes. He actually had a couple good defensive plays that I did like. There was even one on Shai where he kind of bothered him to the point where he either turned it over or missed. I can't remember. But I don't know where it ends up. Where you ended up on him grade-wise?
I think it has... There's an argument to put him in nice. But 5 turnovers... like lack of desperation in the second half,
Yeah.
And he probably noticed that Ant wasn't as aggressive. Why didn't he step up? What were they doing that basically stopped him from shooting the 3 the way he did? Not even really taking an attempt, honestly. And what happened in the second half where he decided, it's other people's time. I'm only going to take 13 shots, and most of it was in the first half. I'm a little worried about just like the desire when the game was close, like what happened there. One game, it's one game.
Yep.
I think this is a meh, ultimately. I think this is a meh. We care about you. We need you, bud. We needed you in the second half.
Yeah, I guess. Wow.
There's some remarkable comments in chat. I want to get to them. I hope I get them. One of them is my Manimal. They were dude, I would actually like him to be on the call instead of Dorsberg or Richard Jefferson.
Yeah.
I mean, Mama Gozer, that man is harmless. I don't need to hear anything else. There's so much slurping on OKC's side from the broadcast. Like I wasn't hearing anything.
Shout out Doris Burke for calling Shai a foul merchant or free throw merchant at one. Well, she didn't really call him that, but
fans
she brought it up.
online.
She said Twitter too, which is respect. Calling it Twitter, I'm down. But I generally don't really like either one of them on the broadcast.
All right. I think I found it, but it's like a general comment that I think translates to like SGA is kind of expecting these calls, and he kind of reliably gets them. And to the point where then his game frees up because we have to soften our coverage and play a different style of basketball. We can't play physical because he is doing his own due diligence of falling and flopping, and it really affects us. Note, Jaden McDaniels fouls out, barely touching him.
Yeah.
Ant has a really hard time getting downhill. I think some of it is on his own and instincts, because he doesn't see a clear path. There was one really awesome play where like Gobert was kind of like basically bracing and kind of like allowing a runway for Ant to get to the layup or whatever.
Yep.
But outside of that, like he had a really hard time finding openings to drive the rim. Hey, kudos to OKC, but they were also playing physical. They were also kind of bodying him and pushing him around. Great. That's an exciting brand of basketball if it's called both sides, both ways.
Yeah.
Not using it as an excuse, but I think it probably gets to his head that he can't reliably expect, or he can't like get downhill with some sort of expectation that, and he has to really play through contact. I think he also has a propensity to like play around contact and not get the follow through where he actually gets bodied or gets harmed while he's going for a basket. So Ant has to go through this. But I feel like, oh wow, that was this game.
Yep.
Jesus. I think there's a lot of series left. And I walked into this kind of post-game podcast #analysis being like, whoa, what was my expectations for the series and why were they so high? And why am I so prisoner of the moment right now that it won't happen? And then I thought, as we were talking, we crapped the bed from 3. We gave them the ball multiple times. Jaden, dribbling for no reason. Julius not being aware. Naz Reid spinning into a turnover. Okay. We can cut those down in half. And actually, also, OKC in the first half was like even with us. They were playing pretty sloppy. But just emphasize the fact that our strength is size and push it into the paint as best as we can. Because I think they're going to get in foul trouble too, as we saw with Dort, who was basically a nothing burger, as we saw with other players too. I think we could really, Hartenstein, for example, I think we could really be we have stronger presence down low. And that should be a key to our game, is play harder.
Yeah. After the game, Ant and Julius reacting
was working.
to free throws.
That seemed a little planned.
Feel like was working.
Maybe.
Randle took 1 shot and missed in the third quarter. Ant took 5 shots and made 2. Oof.
Yeah. Not good. Gotta have your stars do something. But they didn't. Well, frustrating. Let's see. I don't really have much else, to be honest with you. We got to keep our composure. I agree with you. I think if we make some more threes, and if we get a different set of refs that don't reward the Shai flopping, I think we have a good chance. I still think we have a good chance. They always say, what's the old cliche or adage or whatever? It's not a series until the home team loses. So that could happen on Thursday.
True.
Who knows? And if it happens on Thursday, all momentum goes to us. Still would have rather won tonight, but I'll take it. Cool. Well, you got anything else before we're out of here?
No, I'll see you guys for game 2.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us. If you haven't already, like the stream, subscribe to the stream on your way out. Scheduling might be a little weird. I actually might have something come up right after the game next time, so we might have a weird thing. And we need to at some point during the series do a giveaway. Have to have some kind of a giveaway. Might not be tickets. Maybe it will be tickets. Maybe tickets will get cheap if we lose both games. But it'll be, we have to do something. We at the very least have Steve has sponsored a jersey giveaway. So we've got that. And probably some other merch and stuff like that too. So stick around.
Steve.
We'll do that game 2 or 3. I'm not sure. You'll have to be to both. Checking in. Join the Discord. Go Wolves. Cool. 8 more wins. We just need 8 more wins. And really, you need to just think 4 more wins. And really, if you go even deeper than that, 1 game at a time. Just win.
You got to score more points than OKC, man.
That's true.
That's simple.
And actually, if you go even deeper, just think about the 1 possession.
Yeah.
Just score.
And then stop and then score again.
Yep. Just 1 possession at a time. And then you think about your breathing. 1 breath. No. Cool. Well, that's it for us tonight. 8 wins still possible. Final still possible. yeah, we'll see you Thursday night. Intro as the outro. We will see you Thursday night.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the world championship.
Edwards.